Welcome, everyone. Today we're not just talking about a famous discovery. We're going to get our hands dirty, so to speak. We're breaking down the incredibly precise, super high stakes, and frankly, nerve-wracking procedure of opening King Tutankhamun's final resting place. It's like we're going right inside that tomb looking over Howard Carter's shoulder.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First up, we're going to set the stage. Get the whole context of this amazing moment. Then, we'll start to meticulously peel back the layers, one coffin at a time. After that, we'll dive into a huge technical challenge Carter's team run into, what I'm calling the golden obstacle. And finally, the grand finale. We'll get to that incredible moment of revelation, coming face to face with the boy king himself. All right, let's jump right into section 1. The stage is set. And really, the most important thing to grasp here is the wait, 3 long years of it.
Now check out this timeline, because the time gap is just wild. The tomb's discovered in 1922, right? And it's an absolute global sensation. But, and this is the key part, Howard Carter's team doesn't even begin to open the king's coffins until October 1925. Can you just imagine that? 3 full years of painstaking work, cataloging everything, with the entire world watching and waiting. The pressure must have been absolutely immense.
Okay, that brings us to section 2, and this is where things start to get really interesting. Coffins within coffins. Honestly, the best way to picture this is like the most incredible archaeological matryoshka doll you've ever seen. One of those Russian nesting dolls, where each one you open reveals another, even more beautiful one inside?
So, the procedure finally begins. First, they manage to hoist off this absolutely massive lid from the first coffin. But what's underneath? It's not another lid. It's this delicate linen shroud. So Carter, ever so carefully, peels that back, and what does he find? A second coffin, even more magnificent and gilded than the first. You see, every single layer here is a brand new jaw-dropping discovery. And this is where you can just feel the excitement building. This second coffin wasn't just, wood covered in gold leaf. No, this was something else. It was intricately decorated with these absolutely stunning, iridescent glass inlays, blues, greens, reds. For Carter and his team, this was like a huge flashing sign telling them they were getting closer to something truly, truly special. But of course, just when things are getting amazing, they hit a major snag. And that brings us to section 3, the golden obstacle. Because this is where they run into a huge problem. A thick, black, perfumed resin that's covering everything.
So here's the deal. The team is now facing a problem nobody had ever really encountered before. This third coffin is just caked in this black gunk, this resin that's hardened over thousands of years. It's basically glued the whole thing shut. So what do you do? I mean, really, think about it. How do you open this priceless artifact without destroying what's inside? It's not like there was an instruction manual for this sort of thing.
Well, Carter's team had to get creative, and they had to do it on the spot. They ended up using this painstaking combination of techniques. We're talking super careful, delicate hammering, trying out different chemical solvents to see if they could dissolve the resin, and even using precisely applied heat to try and soften it. You can imagine this was an incredibly slow, nail-biting process. And what they finally uncovered, after all that meticulous work, was just unbelievable. I mean, it blew everyone away. The first 2 coffins, they were amazing, sure, but they were gilded wood covered in gold leaf. This third one, this one was different. It was forged from solid gold. We're not talking about a gilded object anymore. This was a solid, priceless treasure of immense weight and value, a total game changer.
So once they finally got all that black resin cleared away, the coffin's powerful story just shone through. You could see these beautiful winged goddesses, their arms outstretched to protect the king. And there, in his hands, he's holding the crook and the flail. And these are the classic symbols of a pharaoh's power, right? The crook, that's for his role as a shepherd, guiding his people. And the flail, that symbolizes his authority, his power to command.
And all of that finally brings us to our final act, section 4, the face of the pharaoh. This is it. This is the moment. The 3,500-year-old revelation that the entire world had been holding its breath for. But before they could see the pharaoh, they had one last massive hurdle, lifting the lid of that solid gold coffin. And to give you an idea of the sheer scale of this thing, it took 8 men to lift it. 8! Just let that sink in for a second. The weight alone tells you everything you need to know about how unbelievably valuable this object was.
And what they saw when they finally got that lid off? Well, it was the most incredible sight of the entire excavation. Tutankhamun's mummy was just covered in treasure. There was this huge scarab beetle on his chest, golden hands grasping the royal symbols, these little inlaid strips with magical formulas on them, and then the mask. The now iconic, absolutely exquisite mask of solid gold, glass, and precious stones. Just breathtaking. And you have to understand the significance of this. This was the crucial point. No one in modern history had ever seen anything like it. This was a pharaoh laid out exactly as the priests had left him 3,500 years ago. It was a perfect, completely undisturbed time capsule from the ancient world. Absolutely mind-blowing.
But believe it or not, the discoveries weren't done yet. As Carter's team was struggling to very carefully remove that heavy mask from the mummy, one final, crucial clue was revealed. Because underneath that powerful golden symbol of absolute kingship were the boyish looks of a teenager.
And this discovery just brilliantly shows how one single piece of information can solve a whole bunch of puzzles at once. You see, archaeologists had always wondered, why was Tut's tomb so small for a pharaoh? And why did everything seem kind of jumbled and rushed? Well, his age was the answer. Scientific analysis later confirmed he was only about 19 when he died. There just wasn't enough time to build him a grand tomb fit for a king. This one had to be assembled quickly, a sudden response to the untimely death of a very young man.
So when you think about it, the ultimate revelation wasn't just what was in the tomb, but who was in the tomb. It completely redefined how we see this legendary pharaoh. And that kind of leaves us with a final big question, doesn't it? What other huge historical assumptions that we take for granted might one day be completely overturned by a single, unexpected discovery still buried out there just waiting to be found?